Hello, and welcome to Random Access, PC Mag's daily show on Facebook, where we look at one cool thing which we are testing in the PC Mag labs. I'm Sasha Segan, this is Juan Martinez, and today we have a huge, amazing, grand, cool thing. Now, we have Pete on the con, as usual, ready to take your questions and comments about any products that you may be curious about, and of course about this product, which I think is one of the most curious products which we have seen this year. And this product that we have today is called the Google Jamboard. And what the heck is this thing?
Okay, so you've seen a lot of collaboration kiosks come about lately. The Microsoft Surface Hub, to name a few, to name one of them. And what these things are basically whiteboard spaces that connect to digital environments that are meant to be used by anyone within your office, within a conference room, within a gathering area, so that people can connect to the web, connect to a whiteboard, and just start collaborating with one another.
So when you talk about collaborating with one another, are you talking about like multiple of these devices being used in different remote locations synchronized?
Yeah, exactly. So you can have a Google Jamboard in one conference room in New York. You could have another Jamboard on your G Suite license in California in a conference room, and both groups could get together and collaborate on the same whiteboard, seeing the same images and markings pop up on the screen.
So now, when I'm collaborating or when I'm talking, when I'm in a meeting context like this, there's whiteboard stuff that you want to do, but you also pretty frequently want to do web browsing, and you want to have a video conferencing window up there to see what the people in the remote location are doing. Can you do all of that here?
Exactly. So you can create a Google Hangout session that will allow up to 50 people to participate, and their voices and images will show up when they start speaking.
Now wait, when you say up to 50 people, does that mean I have like 50 little windows with people in them?
No, you'll have 50 little icons that show up on the screen, and when you start talking, your window will pop up.
Okay.
So it really allows one person, the person at the Jamboard, the leader of the jam session, as they call it, to control the environment so that it's not just 50 talking heads screaming at one another.
Now, can we web browse? Can we project? Can we do a presentation? Is that possible?
What do you mean by do a presentation?
I mean, like let's say I have a PowerPoint file somewhere.
You mean a Google slide?
That I want to show. Well, no, let's start with a PowerPoint file. How would I get that into something that everyone could look at on this board?
Okay, so a PowerPoint file you would have to save to your Google Drive.
Okay, and then it automatically converts it to a Google slide.
Exactly. And then you would fling it from a mobile device onto the screen. Now, here's the thing.
Like with a Chromecast.
No, with the app. So the Jamboard comes with companion iOS and Android apps that allow you to fling things to the screen, such as Google Drive content.
Right.
You can fling sticky notes. So let's say the boss is up here, he's talking, he's saying something absolutely dumb. His employee can fling something to the screen and say, "You're wrong about that, boss. This is right." So in your scenario, a presentation, you could fling the presentation up here, and then you could take all of that information and you could talk about it, you could mark it up, you could move it around on screen. Now, here's one thing you can't do, which I thought you could. I thought when they originally built this, that you could fling a Google Doc up on screen and I could make edits to the Google Doc and that those edits would live live on your cloud. That doesn't work. When you fling something up here, it's basically being flung as an image. And you could manipulate it and you could mess around with it and it saves within your jam session, but it doesn't save back to the cloud.
So sometimes when I think of like projecting and onto whiteboards for collaboration, I'm thinking that I am like on my laptop at the conference table, and I'm able to do things on my laptop like scroll and edit, and that's reflected on the projector. That's not happening.
Okay, so if you shared your Google Hangout screen, everyone on here would be able to see your Google Hangout screen.
Okay.
But you couldn't project content onto the whiteboard that would also be changed locally on your laptop if you made changes.
Okay. So now let's go into kind of what the hardware is here and the price and the how it's sold. I see here we have this beautiful red thing on a stand with some pencils and an eraser. And what comes with it? How much does it all cost?
Okay, so for $5,000, you get $5,000 and a Google G Suite license, which is about $10 per person per month in your organization. You get, and there's a $600 annual servicing fee.
Wait, this just keeps going up.
You get this 55-inch 4K monitor with an NVIDIA Jetson TX1 mobile drone processor, and this stand that comes with it is an extra about $1,200 to $1,400.
So it doesn't come with it.
It doesn't come with the stand, but it does come with a free wall mounting when you buy it through a Google reseller.
Okay.
And that's how you would purchase it. You wouldn't purchase it directly from Google. You'd purchase it through a reseller.
Okay.
They'd help you set it up. And then you would add, as it's being provisioned, all of your Google G Suite licenses are added in the cloud, so that when you want to invite somebody to a jam session, you just tap on this button here, and you can add an owner and share.
Now,
you could send copies of whatever you draw on the board to your group. You can do anything.
Do people have to be jamming within the same G Suite account, or can you jam or share to anyone who uses Google?
Okay, you could send your jam session via a web link to anybody in the world. Anybody could passively view your jam session without being able to participate. They would just see what you're seeing. People within your G Suite have full access, so they can join and they could mark up from other Jamboards if they want. You could send a Google Hangouts invite to anybody with a Gmail account, and they would be able to see this and speak. You'd be able to hear them speaking on the device. When we tested it, we had a lot of problems with that, though. I'll be honest with the people out there that are thinking, I got to run out and buy this. We did have some issues, and we went to Google's headquarters and tried to do Google Hangout sessions and Jamboard to Jamboard sessions, and it didn't always work. But I think they're working through those fixes. It's a new product in a new category, so there are bound to be some glitches.
So now you're holding a stylus and an eraser right now. Did
Yes.
those at least come with the $5,000 Jamboard?
You get 2 styli, or styluses, depending on how you say it, and 1 eraser. So the eraser will erase, and the stylus will draw with 1 millisecond response. The passive stylus here is really, really good, but you could also use your finger. You could use any
So
sort
there's
of
nothing
object.
special about the stylus. You could just use any
The 1
capacitor.
millisecond response time is the if you need response time, if you need to be as accurate as possible, you'll want to use this. But if you just want to draw and you just want to make marks, you could use your finger.
It looks like we have some questions out there.
Is there anything special about the eraser? Could that just be like any circular object?
Yeah, you can clean the Jamboard with any cloth, but they recommend that you use this to clean the Jamboard as well. And not just wipe the screen, but to literally clean the screen as well.
It's especially soft.
Yes.
It's plush.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do not, if you already own a Jamboard or if you're running to buy one, do not use water on the Jamboard. You will ruin the Jamboard. Which it's an important point because the Microsoft Surface Hub, you were supposed to use any liquid and a soft cloth. So, yeah.
So any more questions out there at the moment?
So you said this is a new category. What else is out there?
Yeah, so the Microsoft Surface Hub is the #1 device right now. That's basically this, but a little bit more powerful, tied back to the universal Windows 10 app ecosystem.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, so the Surface Hub is the big, if you are a regular viewer of this show, the Surface Hub is the big screen that I'm always calling up web pages on and, cursing at about 20% of the time. And the biggest thing about the Surface Hub, at least for me as a casual user, is that it actually runs applications.
Yes, so the Surface Hub is built much like a laptop is built to handle multiple processes to let you use 3 different screens on one screen and operate across all 3 of those screens without any slowdown. This is built more like a mobile device, more like a tablet. There is some multitasking, but for the most part, you're going to want to work on one screen, and you're not going to want to run any additional apps. There are no apps for this. There's no app store right now. You're getting a whiteboard app, and within that whiteboard app, you have some functionality along the sides that you can use.
You see, that startles me a little because deep down, this is running Android Marshmallow, right?
Yes.
Why couldn't I just run Android Marshmallow apps on it?
That's a great question. Google's not ready for that. What Google wants, what Google is asking its development partners to do is to develop proprietary apps for the system. They want people to come in and come up with special use cases for how they would use this within their collaborative environment.
And these will probably be very specific single enterprise line of business apps because I don't see a I don't see a critical mass of these getting out there where your mainstream app developer would say, "Oh, this is a big sales potential for us."
No, and I don't think you'll see that on the Surface Hub either. I think the universal Windows 10 applications will be made, and you could use them on the Surface Hub and have fun with them.
Right.
But I don't think you're going to see a groundswell of developers developing for specific Surface Hub or Google Jamboard use cases.
Okay. So there's the Surface Hub, and then, of course, a lot of people are going to say, and isn't there just like get a projector with my laptop?
Yeah, I think the thing that you're going to want when you buy something like this is the ability to create presentations, to send slides back to your organization, so I can add people here. If you just have a projector, you're essentially just using your laptop to project. But with this, it's its own device. It's set up in the middle of a conference room. Anybody can just come up and tap the screen and start working. It's a different, simpler, more collaborative, more convenient way of doing business. I have to show this off because this is the coolest thing.
Show us a feature, please.
This is the feature that made me happiest with this. It's handwriting recognition. So it can turn my scribbles. This is my name I'm writing. And it'll turn it into...
That does not look like a letter A
Eventually,
at all.
it will turn it into... Handwriting recognition failed. The device is offline. Well, okay. I wrote one cool thing in my scribbly, awful handwriting, and when the device was online, it turned it into this block lettering, which I think is wonderful. Instantly does that.
Let's talk a little bit. I just kind of feel like we have to warn people a little bit about the bugginess that we've seen over the past few weeks with this, because earlier, before the show, I was setting this up, and like you're seeing that like, oh, it's fallen offline. I was trying to use the eraser, and the eraser was drawing.
Yeah.
And I get the feeling that the software for this is not totally baked.
No, and they're constantly patching it and updating it and fixing it. As I mentioned, when we tried to do Hangout sessions, the Hangout sessions didn't work. When I was at Google headquarters and we tried to do Jamboard to Jamboard broadcasts, those didn't work. So it is very buggy, but with your $600 a year service fee, you can have a Google representative work with you to make sure that things are working as properly as they can right now.
Okay, let's take a few more questions.
Actually, one last one before we have to wrap up. Can any of this software be accessed outside of Jamboard?
Can any of the software be accessed outside of Jamboard? So the Whiteboard app itself cannot be used as a separate app without the Jamboard. That's not possible. But as I mentioned earlier, you can send a link to this Jamboard session to anyone's web device, and if you have a G Suite account, you can access the Jamboard session from the web. Or you could just passively view it if you don't have a G Suite account. Or you can download the iOS and Android app and access this whiteboard on this Jamboard via your app.
Okay, so the Google Jamboard, $5,000 plus $1,300 for the stand, plus $600 for the service contract, plus $10 a seat for your G Suite account. It is out now. We have a review up. What did you rate it?
I rated it a 3. I think it's a revolutionary device. I think it's really, really important. And I think in 10 years, we'll look back at these devices the way that we look back at the iPhone now, as devices that change the way people do things. But right now, it's still a little buggy. It's not perfect.
Okay, great. Well, that was Random Access for today. Thank you all for watching. We will be back at 10 a.m. tomorrow with another cool thing from the PC Mag Labs. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Oh, it worked. It worked.